From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee.
Coffee's for closers only.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi.
And Corey Clark.
What is up? Welcome in. I want violence this week, Corey. I want violence this weekend. It's Wake Up Warchant. It's fueled by DeLuna Coffee. They're a peaceful people. DeLuna Coffee. They're the Lemmix family out of Pensacola. And do we have some cool stuff to share with you folks here over at DeLunaCoffee.com? It's holiday season. Never too early to get started on getting some gifts for the people that are important in your life. Why not get them a bundle? Look at this. Two options. By the way, shout out to the U.S. Marine Corps, our own Ralph. Thank you, man. With 242 years, we've had these people around just creating havoc, bringing violence on weekends.
Is today their birthday, the Marines' birthday?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, man. Happy birthday.
So, but the Blue Angels, different armed services. But option one of your bundle, you can get the Blue Angels coffee with some of this delicious hot chocolate and a tumbler, or you can get the hot chocolate, a tumbler, and some Blue Angels chocolate-covered espresso caramels. So, I mean, the world's your oyster, everybody, over at DeLunaCoffee.com. Go check them out. They're diehard, loyal, passionate Florida State fans, alums, boosters. Check, and check. Corey's here. Check. We can start now. Corey, how are you, man?
I'm good, buddy. You mentioned the Blue Angels because of DeLuna Coffee. They're Navy, I guess, right?
I
the
think
Blue
so,
Angels?
Yeah.
Do we ever send them into combat to do that kind of flying? I think that would really screw with the enemy if you see all these tricky doos and dipsy doos. I mean, the bombs work too, and knocking planes out of the sky and kicking butt does too. But you could it's almost like taunting.
Yeah. I was
just throwing that out there.
I'm saying either do you do it after victory, kind of like, hey, look at us.
Dip the wing, touch the wings and stuff. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But the victor goes spoils.
Or just like, hey, look at this. Your life's about to change forever now. But I hope you enjoyed this little display.
And it reminds me of the Steelers guy that did the Johnny Lawrence kick, the karate kick after that sack. No, not the Steeler. He was the Bear, right?
Yes, correct.
And he stared down the Steelers bench. And it's crazy that he sacks a quarterback, does a spinny kick, and that's fine. Right. But he took 3 steps and stared without saying anything at the sideline. It's like, nope, we don't have a place for that in football. And he should be able to do whatever. He could have run over to the sideline and done a thrust. I don't care. I'm just saying the gray area there between what's allowed and what isn't, and what's taunting and what isn't, is bizarre.
According to Bill Heinrich, the Blue Angels do have Marines.
Okay.
And then Ralph says one of the 6 pilots is always a Marine.
Okay, nice. All right.
Look at that. Which also, I guess, tomorrow is, as you're listening to this today, Thursday podcast, Wednesday live show. Veterans Day is on a Thursday. Is it always November 11th? I always thought it was like a Monday.
I did too, but I think it must always be November 11th. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess Brady doesn't have school tomorrow.
Yeah, who knows? Anyhow, we're here to talk football. Thank you, though, everybody, for bringing that to our attention. And we're going to talk football. We're going to take your questions here on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up button as we get started and getting revved up here for you. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's lots of stuff dropping this week. We got a Warchant report that's going to be coming up, game predictions. We already had basketball previews being done. Corey, Jeff, Gene chewed the fat, shot the breeze, talked about their favorite memories versus Miami, Florida State rivalry with video.
With highlights, with video footage, a couple of them from Deckerhoff, a couple of audio clips from Deckerhoff too. Yeah, that was really fun. We recorded that today. I assume it'll be up on our site here pretty soon. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And it's 3 dudes that have been going to Miami games. Jeff's first one was 1982. Mine, Gene and mine was 1984. So you're talking about over 100 years of old dudes watching Miami, Florida State football games.
Yeah, look at this. Marlon coming up from Miami with Miami fans in a bus. That's cool.
All right. Okay.
I see you there, Marlon.
Well,
all right.
Van.
I see this guy. I see our guy, Rob. Let's get it going.
Always starting it out.
My guy, Rob. 50 bones. Hey, Rob. Thank you, man. Hope you're feeling good, man. Hope things are trending well in your direction, man. We appreciate you always tuning in.
Always. Thank you, Rob. For real. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rob. We really do appreciate it, man. All right.
Also, we should let people know if you're listening to the podcast or just now watching it, I might sound a little different. I'm not using the lightsaber mic that I usually use because I got a Ring camera that's lit up my face kind of yellow. I mean, I like it. I'm a little more lit up than I would be otherwise, but I only got 2 USB ports, and the other one has to be for the Ethernet. So if I don't sound great, it's because we're trying this out to see if I can be actually well lit for once in this thing. It's still not great because this computer does some weird adjusting, but I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best, guys.
First world problems, everybody. We only have 2 USB ports, but I think this laptop only has 2. This one has 3. I just happen to have 2 because Gene Williams spares no expense when it comes to providing you folks with.
Thank you thanks to people like Rob Rathman.
Yes, thank you, Rob. I think it was Casey. Is Jermaine Johnson, Kier Thomas the best defensive end duo that Tyler Van Dyke has faced? We need to get some pressure on his rear end. But not
I would say it's it has to be.
I don't know about Alabama. I don't know about Alabama. Maybe
he doesn't. Did he face Alabama?
Oh, you're right. You're right. No, he didn't. You're right. I take that back. That was the D. Eric King got some of him.
Especially during this run that he's been on, where he's looked like a different dude. This is certainly the best defensive line they've faced. Probably the best defense actually, which I know isn't saying much. But Pitt gave up 50 points to Eastern Michigan or whoever it was. Pitt's defense is pretty bad. Georgia Tech's is not good. North Carolina, as we know, isn't very good. This is NC State. He did face NC State. That's the better defense. So this is the second best defense he's faced since. So that basically just destroyed my whole argument. But I do think it's probably the best pair of defensive ends he's faced. Those guys are good, man. They're both NFL players. One might be a first or second day pick. Maybe they both are. I don't know. I haven't seen any mock drafts with Jermaine. I assume he's got to be in contention for at least the second round.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Good.
I was trying to pull up some of these numbers, but it's always hard to look at them on the fly. But I mean, Pitt's got the 35th ranked total defense in the country. Clemson 27, but they haven't played Clemson. NC State's 19th. So
again, I don't get that with Pitt. I don't see how you could watch that Pitt team and think they have a good defense. Or that they're putting up numbers like that. That doesn't seem like what I don't know if it's because the opponents they faced or what. But
I mean, they really only had one. I mean, that Western Michigan game was kind of gross. Otherwise, I mean, they've allowed 7, 34, 44, 7, 21, 7, 17, 38, and 29.
Yeah.
So this day and age, that's a little bit better than average. So
I guess,
to the Terror Dome. Hey, let's go to H-Town. H-Town, stay down. Stay up. It's the big guy. Ray. Here. Let's go, Ray. 100 bones from our guy in Houston, Ray. See you, man. Miss you, man.
Come on back, Ray. Come on back to the Hassie one time. That's what people call it now, the Hassie. Come on back. We want to see you again. Want to hang out with you again.
Ray says, not hearing too much from the Odell naysayers since this defensive line is the best part of the team again.
It does help to have players.
Yeah. Also, Van Dyke has a low release point. We need to get the defensive line to get their hands up. It's always that sort of give and take, right, Corey? It's like, because if you're gonna sell out and put your hands up, you're really not going to bring it on the pass rush.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
But if you're not getting there, especially if you're in the middle, it's hard for a defensive end. Defensive ends coming around the edge. But a guy, if he's throwing a crossing pattern, and you can tell that he's looking, you can read his eyes a little bit, and you're not getting there. It's hard to sack a quarterback from the interior anyway. Even if you're pushing your guy back, as soon as he cocks his arm, leap up. Now, occasionally you're going to get grabbed in the chest and pile drive when that happens, so I get why they don't do it.
What I will say about Van Dyke, having watched only like a game and a half of his, and I'm not trying to diminish what he's done. Good for those people down there. I was trying to think about this, Corey. Like, what program that's won a national championship in our lifetime has gone a longer gap between above average, probably really good quarterback play? Like, Miami's got to be near the top of the list. I mean, if you want to go like Ken Dorsey, probably. I was talking to some of the guys after practice. They said Brad Kaya. I don't really think Brad Kaya counts.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd throw Kaya in there. They've always had pretty good. Kaya was pretty good. Stephen Morris, I thought, was pretty good. Ja'Cory wasn't. But, look, put Dorsey on put Dorsey on the 2016 team.
Right.
They aren't winning anything either.
Yeah.
Or put Brad Kaya on the 2000 team. I think they're probably, still contending for a national championship, and in 01 they win it. They haven't had a special dude, like a transcendent guy, a Heisman candidate, really. When was the last one they had? Flipping, who was it?
Gino Torretta.
Oh, man. So they haven't had a really good dynamic college quarterback since like Steve Walsh, Vinny Testaverde.
Yeah, Walsh, yeah.
Walsh was good, man. Walsh gets kind of lost in the shuffle. He didn't win a Heisman, but he was really good. But Torretta wasn't anyway. Yeah, that's right. They haven't had a great, like a transcendent quarterback. And now obviously have the best player in the country at quarterback. Oh, yeah. But before this guy, they had been struggling here for a few decades.
But the point I was trying to get to though was, he doesn't make extraordinary throws. He's not scrambling and making great throws off platform. He's not like threading the needle in and showing great arm strength and accuracy. But man, he does push it downfield, and his guys make plays for him. Like those 50-50 balls, the last two games have been like 75-25 in Miami's favor. And I don't know how long you can sustain that.
They go get it. He maybe hasn't made some Jameis, breaking out of 3 sacks and throwing it up plays, but there is a talent to seeing it and ripping it, seeing it quickly and ripping it. And when you see man-to-man, put it where your guy can go make a play, and don't be afraid. And this kid isn't afraid, man. He's not afraid of making a mistake. He's not afraid of maybe throwing it into coverage. He trusts his receivers and he trusts his ability. It's going to get him into trouble some, but so far, man, it's really worked out for him.
Ray, thanks again, man. We really
thank you very much, Ray. You're the best, buddy.
Good man, Ray. Get down or lay down. Do we want the offensive lineman from Clemson and the wide receiver from Syracuse that are in the portal? The receiver has a name. I'm trying to find it here.
I bet they both have a name.
Yeah, well, Taj Harris. That's the receiver from Syracuse. I don't know if there's been contact made between him and the coaching staff, and I don't know who this offensive lineman is from Clemson. But in talking, obviously, with Norvell this week, they know the portal giveth, the portal taketh away. And, he talked about just how crazy it is in the middle of a season. People's names pop up. So if you want to tweet at them and let them know, it might not hurt.
Right.
But they're aware. They're working the channels. They see everything that we see, and they know where they got to get better. So
I would certainly think that they're the Syracuse kid was their best guy, right?
Yes.
Their best receiver. Yeah, you're certainly listening if he's wanting, or you might even be pursuing, because you definitely need to get better there. And I think that kid's a pretty darn good player.
Blake, what's going on, Blake? I honestly don't think there's a legit chance we beat Miami. What?
See, this is what Blake. I get it.
Come on.
Yeah, Miami is favored for a reason. They're 2.5-point, 3-point favorite, but that's certainly not out of the realm of an upset. And would you have said that after the Carolina game or after the UMass game? Like our whole perception, I shouldn't say many people's perception of this team, I think has been a little bit, it's been colored by these last 2 weeks. One where you lost at Clemson, where your offense didn't play well, because that's not a surprise. And the other one when your quarterback didn't play and you had a flu-ridden team. Like that, this isn't an unbeatable, unwinnable game by any stretch. If Florida State plays like they did against North Carolina, Florida State will win this game. And if they have the flu, they won't. So let's hope it's closer to the North Carolina game, but Florida State can win this game. They can. I'm not predicting it. I'm not saying they're gonna, but it's certainly winnable. So you at least have a legitimate chance, I think.
Yeah, come on, Blake, tighten up, man. Wes in the Villages, Van Dipstick hasn't seen a D-line like the one he's going to see on Saturday.
You tell him, Wes. Man, it's a good one. It's the best one he's faced, probably.
William McMillan makes a small request for Adam Fuller to have 2 guys on Charleston Rambo, or just rush 3 and drop 8 into coverage. I got no problem with the latter, or even the former on that, to be honest with you. So
I wish they did it better. I wish they did the zone stuff on obvious passing downs a little bit better. Wish they had a little bit better safety play, although I think Jamie Robinson's playing well. They're going to throw to Rambo a lot. They're going to throw to Rambo a lot. And I don't know who's going to be opposite Brownlee, but I imagine they're going to test whoever's opposite of Brownlee. They're going to test Brownlee too. It's not like he's Jalen, but whoever's opposite of Brownlee, whether it's, I don't know, Jay, Jarian Jones, whoever they put out there, they're going to take some shots with Rambo for sure.
Carol's here, y'all. Good evening, gentlemen. It's the Miami game. It's soon upon us once again. Feel like next year we will be somewhat better, but unfortunately we are 2 years away before really making the impact everyone is looking for. Agreed? With that being said, patience, practice, and the portal are the 3 Ps, whereas recruits, rebuild, and relationships are the 3 Rs. Go Seminoles, beat the Canes.
I like it, Carol. I like it. Yeah, the P's and the R's. Yeah, I mean, but this is the thing, too. I was texting with Ira today because, I was telling him how weird my life is, that on this show, I'm Mr. Positive. Like, I'm the one that's like, hey, give them time. The things are stacked up against them, which is true. But on Seminole headlines, I play more of the Aslan role, where I'm like, okay, I get all that, but there's no excuse to this is your quarterback situation. There's no excuse that Tate Rodemaker looks like this, like that he can't beat out a one-legged quarterback. That's weird. That we can agree that that's not great. So I live on this fence where I'm like, it's like I have 2 different masks on when I really just want to be myself and dance. But with the patience thing, that's where I understand people's when they hear media members over and over and over, guys, he's doing the best he can. He's really good. You got to be patient. You got to be patient. Give him time. I get it, man. It's hard to be patient. You didn't grow up rooting for South Carolina or UTEP or New Mexico, man. You grew up rooting for the best program in the country, the one that's won more games since over anybody else since 1980 until these days. You've won a 3-time national champs, 14 straight top 4 finishes. Like, I get it. It's hard to be patient. You really got no other choice. But I get the frustration. I truly do. I try not to be all preachy. I know I am sometimes. I feel like me and Aslan kind of take on roles on this show. But I get that, I think many people are with Carol, but some aren't. And some are frustrated and fed up, and I get it. But there's really nothing to do but be patient and, hope they hit some grand slams in the portal. That would help too.
Well, I think she says, she really does put it best.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the thing. Like, let's not lose sight of the fact. Of course, this is an unfortunate circumstance of where the program has been the last few years and where they're moving and not at the rate we want it to. I just find it ideally, yes, you make this slow progress. You make this climb. 3 wins year 1, year 0. Maybe this year you can squeak out 4 or 5. Then next year you win 6 or 7. And then you're thinking, sky is the limit maybe in 2023. I just don't know how many coaches, Corey, really over the last 20 years have done that gradual progression. It's been these weird spikes that just sort of happen. And that's why I understand everybody wants this to kind of work in a nice, neat, tidy fashion. I don't know where the precedent really is in that. Urban Meyer, year 2, shot through the roof. Year 2, Bob Stoops, Oklahoma, shot through the roof. Orgeron was up and down. They fluctuated. I think maybe 18 was a little bit better maybe than 17. He's a guy that, took a few years to figure it out. With Jimbo, 11, 8 wins in 11, then we shoot up to 12, and then you win the national championship the year after that. Maybe that's a close. But that's not close to where Florida State is right now. It's just
no, they were down further than we even knew at the time. They were down further, and it's a slow climb. It's a slow climb, but we're climbing. We're climbing. Just don't lose to them 52-10 again.
Man.
You keep bringing this up. What are you looking at? What are you thinking of playing one?
Well, no, 64.5. Because I think it's going to be high scoring. I think it's going to be high 30. I think it might be like low 40, like 42, 38, 38, 35, somewhere in that vicinity. That 64.5 over under looks kind of tempting to me. But
okay, all right.
Just for entertainment thoughts, just for entertainment purposes. Moving along here on the YouTube show, we appreciate everybody joining us here. If you give the thumbs up, that would be even really much more appreciated. Almost as much as the $5 that Sky Ninja just threw at us. Sky Ninja FSU at $5. Thank you, man. Says Georgia still has school, Corey.
That's crazy. What's that about? He had a digital day on Tuesday. They couldn't have just made that an off day on Thursday? Come on, get it together, Georgia.
Who else on the Florida State roster could be a decent mobile quarterback, and why haven't they tried to make that kind of move? Thanks, guys.
I mean, I don't even know how many of these guys, other than Travis Jay, even played played quarterback in high school. But it's hard, man. It's hard. You don't want to just be like, okay, we're completely abandoning everything we believe in on offense, and we're just going to give it to Jashawn Corbin and let him run around. That said, I don't know that it would have worked much worse than what we saw other times where Jordan Travis wasn't the quarterback. But you got to get away from this too. Like I think this is what they are for the rest of this year. But you got to figure out a way where you got to develop some sort of passing game where your receivers aren't just catching 4 balls a game. Like you number one, you're trying to get guys here. Good luck trying to convince that Syracuse kid to come if he looks at your game film and your receivers are only catching 5 balls a game total. Like he wants to catch that by himself. So you do have to develop some sort of a passing game. Hopefully they'll use the offseason to figure that out. I think it could still be Jordan Travis, and I like him, but you got to have another option. You can't just. I don't think you can just decide on being a mobile QB, or like I don't know if he's asking like if you would switch somebody from a different position, but either way, Rodemaker is an athlete. We know that, as Kenny pointed out. You could see it on the Snapchat stuff this spring. He's doing flips and he can tomahawk dunk a basketball, but he's not a guy that's going to make dudes miss in the open field. Probably,
yeah, he's not explosive and shifty and sudden.
I don't know if AJ Duffy how much of an athlete he is. I know he can move, but I don't know if he's like a special athlete. But, there's a lot of really good quarterbacks that aren't special athletes. Go find one.
Let me ask you this, Corey. In terms of a decent mobile quarterback, I will at least give Jordan Travis that. I know I'm really tough on the young man, which, and the way he talked today after practice on Wednesday, where he's just like, hey, man, football is really tough.
Yeah.
There's some stuff he's battling, man. I mean, it's a tough thing, man. It's a tough thing to be quarterback in a Power 5 place like this. There's a lot that comes with it, man. And some people, I don't think anybody handles it well, but no one's going to tell you about it. So I kind of tip my cap to him on that. But to the quarterback being mobile, have we seen this staff? Would you say the staff has really embraced and unleashed everything that Jordan can do with his skill set?
I haven't seen a ton of what look like designed QB runs in boots and stuff like that, where you would think they'd get him on the edge a little bit more in designed scenarios. I think most of his runs have either been, a lot of them have been just scrambles. And the 2 big runs he had against Syracuse weren't. On that final drive, I don't think were called. They looked just like, okay, first read isn't open, go. That is something they could. But again, They know what happens. They've seen it, and now they've seen it again. They know what happens if he's not playing. So I guess they're just trying to be careful about, we can't design. He's going to run enough on his own just with broken down plays because our receivers can't get open, or he doesn't see it quickly enough, whatever you want to say, that he's going to run enough on his own. We don't necessarily need to be calling a lot of quarterback draws. And they haven't really since the weight game. He came in that weight game in the second drive in that weird scenario, and I think they called a couple straight up quarterback draws. But since then, it's kind of been just him reading it or him scrambling.
Yeah, I wonder where those RPO home runs are that he had against North Carolina last year. I think Pitt, he hit on one of the 70, 80-yard touchdown run. Like, where are those?
Well, he hit, way back when he hit Ja'Kai Douglas against Notre Dame. He hit Pokey against North Carolina. I mean, they've had a few. So, it's what are you doing? Who am I talking to?
Just finish your thought.
I can't. You distracted me.
I don't even know who this is. Who is this? It's on my screen. Who is it? Who's Noel?
Who is Noel Cal Kev?
Who are you?
Wow.
Let's go.
That's going straight to the Travis Hunter Fund. We're setting aside 60% of all profits to go straight to Travis Hunter's family up here in Suwanee, Georgia. That's a joke, by the way. I probably shouldn't even joke about that. Are we still on? Have they cut our mics? But thank you very much, Noel Cal Kev. That's incredible, man. Thank you. And hey, I appreciate he calls me his favorite Warchant staff member, but then calls you the GOAT. So thank you very much, man. That's incredible. That's nuts. That's very, very nice.
Kev, shout out, man. Just way to make your presence felt. I don't even know if we've seen his name pop up on our screen just asking a question. And he's like, bam. Dude, one more time for my guy.
That's great. Imagine, I keep coming back to this. Imagine when this program is good again. I feel it. And I'm telling you, I feel there is an energy from these fans. And not because of this team right now, but because they so want it to be good again. That if just give them a taste of being good, and they're going to jump all over. Just a taste, and they're gonna jump all over this thing, man. And talking to Alford the other day, the Seminole Boosters president, he was talking about trying to drive up membership because right now they're in the middle of the conference. They only 2%. There's 380,000 undergrads, Florida State undergrads in this country. Only 2% are boosters. So there, but we know just from this show there is real interest in this program. Yeah, they should come to us. The boosters should come to us. We got some names for them. But thank you very much, man. Thank you, Kevin.
Can we report some of more of the details he talked about? I mean, that was an open conference thing, right? That wasn't like off the record conversation that he had with us Monday, was it?
I don't think so. He was standing in front of a bunch of reporters and talking. Yeah. By the way, we got to answer Kevin's question. What should his energy be going into this weekend's game?
Well, first, I think he said they got $50 million towards that football facility, which I think is a $70 million thing. So, I mean, you might as well start breaking ground now, Michael. Get on.
Yeah. I thought he said 55. I just remember Marvin Jones. It might have been 55 million. But yeah, they made some serious strides there.
You know what they say though, Corey? It's the first 55 million is a piece of cake. It's that last 15 million.
Second 50. Yeah, I thought the second 55 is the hardest.
All right, so Noel Kev, welcome to the Terror Dome, man. Give us some background real quick, man. How'd you become a Florida State fan? Do you live in California? Is your name Cal and your last name is like Kevin Smith or something? I don't know. Who knows, man? Let us know who you are.
I would say he's from Northern California, and his name is Kevin.
Okay, that's probably correct. All right, his energy. I don't know. Do we steal genres and memes from Jeff Cameron and put a category on this? Man, you should be optimistic. You should be optimistic and confident. Again, I think Miami's got a better quarterback. I think Florida State's got the better coach. I'll take the better coach at home.
And I think their defenses are close.
No,
right on the edge. I do.
Yeah, they're
a weird defense, but they give up points. They give up about the same amount. They're giving up 30 every game. I know Georgia Tech was different. They had a fumble recovery for a touchdown, but it's similar defenses. They certainly throw the ball better. You should run the ball better. You're at home. You know, go just win. Please win. Yeah.
And Norvell said after Wednesday's practice about how important the home crowd is going to be, and I don't think that's him patronizing because he said, man, there's going to be swings in that game, and man, if there's anything that's been a consistent message that all of us have kind of agreed on is that okay, yeah, they don't quit, they do play the entire 60 minutes of a football game, they do stay focused. I know some of the penalties no one liked against Clemson, whether it was the pass interference calls or Jermaine's celebration, Lundy's quote unquote late hit. Those are unfortunate, man. But Miami also makes those as well.
Yeah.
And maybe being at home, Florida State will be less, the propensity to make those mistakes will maybe fall on the younger, more pressurized team that's playing.
Well, and again, this kid hasn't played. I know it's not going to be a sellout. It's not going to be the game of the century, but it should at least be, you hope, 60,000. He hasn't played in front of a crowd like this. He hasn't played in a game like this. He's played at Pitt, sure. There were 40 people there. Nobody cares about Pitt football in Pittsburgh. This will be a real atmosphere. Won't be the best in Doak history, but it'll be the best this kid's seen so far. So hopefully he crumbles a little bit, but he doesn't really seem to be made up of the stuff that crumbles.
And look, Corey, you're right.
There you go, Kev. Not just a hat rack, my friend.
Where are you at in Northern California, Kev? Eureka, Redding?
Sonoma. I'm going to say Sonoma.
Okay. It's nice with Sonoma guy. I'm going to say Eureka. Anywho, thank you again, Noel Kev. All right, so again, I'm obsessed with that over-under line. I kind of want to know what it's all about. And if you want to know more about the betting lines and why they move the way they do, you need to check out BetQL Daily, sponsored by FanDuel. It's the must-listen show for sports bettors and sports fans alike. They'll help you understand where the market is moving, courtesy of some of their great insiders. and bookies they speak to, along with their hosts, Joe Ostrowski, Joe Giglio. It's the Joes and Aaron, Corey. Joe Ostrowski, Joe Giglio, and Aaron Hawksworth. They serve up the wagertainment, and they get you going for the weekend of games that are about to go down. If you're not sure where to start when it comes to sports betting, go to that website on the screen, Odyssey. It's like Audacity without the I and the T. And you can find out BetQL Daily, presented by FanDuel. Listens 9 to noon Eastern on that website, Odyssey, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. Moving back along here. Who's one of my guys here? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about half the time. It was really funny. Here he goes. Yeah, Rob Krause. Kevin Smith is a prominent last name in California. You're right. Thanks, Rob. Thanks for picking it up. Back to the comments here. Let's go to our guy in Naples. It's Mark. Let's get some positivity going. Corey, LMAO, at the getting naked and proposing to a werewolf.
Oh, that's when I drink liquor. Yeah.
Is that headlines? Is that something
I said it yesterday on our show.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear that.
What's the matter with you, man? That hurts.
I'm sorry.
Who am I just talking to myself?
No, stop that. He says, do try high noon. It's not any more potent than a Truly.
Okay. All right.
Mark believes that the Florida State defense will expose Van Kozar on Saturday. It's a rivalry game. He'll press too much. I like the Noles. Go Noles.
Here's the thing. He will give you a chance to make some plays. He's also going to make some plays. He's one of those guys. He's got what I like to call Aslan a little bit of a gunslinger mentality. He's going to throw it up. He's going to see it. He's going to throw it up. He's going to trust his receiver. Your DBs are going to have to play the best they've played all year. That's not a high bar to clear. I get it, but they're going to have to go make some plays, man. They're just go. Don't get scared and pull the guy down and get a flag. Go up, find the ball, and try to make a play. You've got to, because they're going to make plays, but you've got to answer. You've got to hope that this DB, the DBs play with that mindset. It would be really nice to see that. But yeah, this kid will probably make some mistakes because number one, he's young, and all quarterbacks do. He's not Aaron Rodgers yet. Good week for Aaron Rodgers, I thought. That was really fun. Great for Pat McAfee. But he's not Aaron Rodgers yet. So he will give you a chance to make some plays. You can't drop interceptions. You can't miss sacks when you get them. You got to get him on the ground.
By the way, apparently, according to the Miami fan that usually trolls around in our waters here, the Syracuse receiver committed to Kentucky. So,
well, there goes that. Who we'll cross him off the list then? Who's next? Where's Rambo going next year?
Eric Angels here, everybody from Cincinnati. Ooh, a little bit of a bang. Thank you, Mark. Thanks, man. I didn't say it enough. Mark's a pillar. Mark's name is right here on this pillar.
He is.
I think Eric Angels on here as well too.
Yeah. Oh, Eric Angel's always on, man. He's for every show.
Let's get fired up. Go Noles, smash the U. He says Noles 36, Miami 14.
All right. So he's taking the under.
He's taking the under.
Yeah.
Wish he could have been down for this game, he said.
That would be incredible, Eric. That would be fun. That'd be fun to write about, be fun to talk about. I love the optimism. I don't foresee it playing out like that, holding them to 14 points. But it would be cool if it happened. It'd be maybe a pick six, maybe another strip and score for Jermaine Johnson or something. But that would be, that would be very surprising.
Thanks again, Eric.
Thank you very much, bud.
Christian Williams, well-dressed Chris. This offseason, recruiting season, our best-ranked players were in the secondary. Why do we still look so bad on the back end of the defense?
Well,
maybe they were wrong, Christian. Maybe they were wrong.
You could say maybe the recruiting analysts might have missed the mark on maybe a 5-star that you have currently starting in your secondary. I still believe in you, man. I'm not naming names. I still believe in you. It's just they're not. It's weird too because I think Jamie Robinson can play. I think Brownlee's a decent corner. He's not awful. Jarian Jones has actually made some plays. He's just when he makes bad plays, good grief, they're noticeable. But the one thing they've gotten better at, and it's a minor accomplishment, I know, is typically they're not letting dudes just run free. That's what was so strong. That's what was so weird about the first NC State touchdown. That came out of nowhere. We haven't seen that since Louisville, the first half of Louisville. where there's just a miscommunication and your corner just lets them run right by them. That was bizarre. We hadn't seen that. So the communication has been better. The tackling was awful by two guys on last Saturday. But yeah, you've got to get better there. I think Kevin Noles can play. I think Sidney Williams, it could end up being a pretty good player, and you got to hope the cavalry's coming. But yeah, I think Jamie Robinson and Kevin Noles have been pretty good this year.
Yeah, I mean,
Travis Jay is just, you got to figure out what to do with that kid, man. You got to figure out something to do with him if he's going to be a part of your football team, because it certainly doesn't appear to be in the secondary.
I was almost going to convince myself of that. We, got ahead of ourselves by letting that North Carolina game really kind of wash, like one game against a so-so team. Good performance by Florida State against North Carolina, but we let that one game kind of wash away a lot of the stink. But man, they clamped down Clemson quite well. I mean, Uyunglele was 19 of 31 for 189 against the likes of Justin Ross. That Ngata guy is pretty solid. They have
a good tight end that Travis Jay knows he met.
Yeah. So we did see two games against two good opponents, and the secondary playing well. Why they've, they reverted a little bit back to it against North Carolina State. Maybe could chalk it up possibly to the flu, but that's
well. And the thing is, though, I didn't think the secondary, other than those three plays, played. I mean, I know that's not how football works, but like they got 130 yards on those three plays. 80 of those yards came on missed tackles. It wasn't like they were just getting run by and torched and giving up huge completions. It's just they got beat on two screen passes where Keir Thomas doesn't go out in the flat like he's supposed to, and then Akeem Dent acts like he doesn't know what a tackle is. And then Jarian Jones misses a tackle, and Akeem Dent gets pancaked on the other screen pass at the end of the game. But it wasn't like those receivers were just streaking by. Think about what that I was almost going to say that white slot receiver. I don't want to identify by race. Thayer Thomas, what he did to Florida State last year. Like, he could have had 40 catches if he wanted. And I don't remember him doing anything in that game of note, maybe a few catches. I thought they did a pretty good job on their good receivers. It's just they got beat on a couple of screen passes, and one over the top where Jarian Jones just lets the guy go right by him. But it's a fair question, Christian. I don't know. Hopefully they'll get better. Hey, Weldon.
Weldon Taylor shouting us out from his car. Nice car selfie, big guy. I like it. 20 Bones rocking the garnet and gold hat. All right. What's up, Weldon? Let us know. You got a question, man? We appreciate the love. We just
thank you very much, Weldon. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Who says all Cane fans are a bunch of jerks? Chad Patterson. As a Cane fan, I sure hope y'all play a great game. I love this rivalry. All right, well, go hang out with your friends. Leave.
Hey, don't be like that. Yeah, why are you watching this? But yeah, thank you very much, man. And that's the thing. We also, when we were doing that show, Gene and Jeff and I talking about the best Florida State plays in the rivalry, you do miss just how much it meant. And this is both sides are to blame for this. Miami maybe more so because they haven't been relevant in quite a while now. But man, it used to be the game of the year in college football, and it's kind of lost a little bit of that luster. But I don't think it means any less to the fans. It means less to the rest of the country. But all you got to do is start winning again, and it'll start meaning something again. But it was, man, those days were awesome. We have it's a play where Devin Bush intercepts Frank Costa to ice the 93 game. And he runs in the end zone, and then they do a shot. They show the Florida State fans going crazy, and then they do a shot on the sideline, and it's just The Rock just standing there staring off into the distance because he just lost to Florida State. And it's like, man, what an awesome rivalry. The other play of that game is Charlie Ward escaping the pocket and throwing to Matt Fryer for a touchdown. Well, Warren Sapp is chasing Charlie Ward. Like, these were awesome moments, man. It's just I long to get back to that. I really do, because those were really fun games to. Even though Florida State lost some really heartbreaking ones, that was a really fun rivalry to be a part of.
And they're just a good villain.
They're a great villain. They play it perfectly.
They do. So it's King Mac. Kenny needs to have a backup plan on offense. From the first snap, Miami's going to pin their ears back and try to shut Jordan Travis's running game down. Well, thanks for letting us know the game plan. We're going to need to throw the ball to break 30 points.
Well, you need to complete the ball.
Corey? Do they, Corey? They scored 30 points, and he never even throws for 225 yards. Well, why would it change?
You're going to have to make some plays downfield in the passing game. You're not. I don't know if you're going to have to. I thought he said you have to throw it 30 times. That you don't need that to happen. You are going to, like North Carolina. The reason they won that game wasn't because of the running game. It's because the dude completed his last 11 passes for 180 yards. Like, those plays will be there to be made because they do have to pay attention to the three-headed monster in the backfield. Not really a monster right now. Let's hope it builds back up to that. But so you are going to have to make some plays downfield, and you are going to have some chances. You have to. You can't. You either got to see it quick. Your receiver might actually have to break a tackle or beat a dude one-on-one. Maybe your tight ends have a big game, but you're going to have to make some plays in the passing game. That goes for every game, not named UMass.
I take umbrage with this, Corey. Briley, we've got a yo-yo fan base because so many of our fans set unrealistic expectations and revise them week to week.
You tell him, Briley.
Well, here's my thing. I do wonder, maybe this goes back to random_John's question in the Renegade Express, which we'll get to tomorrow, in terms of like what's fair game, I guess. But like, as a fan, all right, you've listened to us for like 3.5 months, pound you over the head with they're going to be 5-7, 6-6. I think Corey said maybe 7-5 was feeling, but then when the season plays out, you start 0-4. It's like, oh gosh, they're probably not going to win more than one game. But then you beat North Carolina. You look really good beating North Carolina. You got the UMass game in your pocket. Then you go and play Clemson pretty well. Like, why are you not allowed to factor that stuff into your mind? Like, at that point you have to be like, well, I said 6-6 in July, and 6-6 is what's going to be. We see the way these games play out. We get more data. We see these other teams on the schedule. Listen, 4 or 5 weeks ago, does anybody give Florida State a shot at beating Florida in the Swamp?
No.
Absolutely not. Now sitting here like, coin flip, maybe.
I think some of it, to me anyway, and I'm not, as a diehard fan anymore, but some of it to me seems a little bit. This last game to me caught me off guard, the reaction. And I know it might not be the majority of the fan base, but it just seems so reactionary because it was against a better team, and those aren't excuses. You really did. You had trouble practicing, and you didn't have your quarterback. I don't know. So I thought that seemed reactionary. It's like, what's changed since the North Carolina UMass stretch, Syracuse UNC UMass stretch? Played Clemson really tough, lost but played them tough. First time in forever you actually had a chance in the fourth quarter. And then you lost. You were in a game in the fourth quarter without your starting quarterback. I feel like it's just been kind of doing this. Maybe not going like this, but I don't think it went like that with a loss to Clemson and a loss to NC State. Now ask me again after this week. You okay, buddy?
Yeah, I accidentally hit my headset. Sorry, everybody, for who's listening to the podcast on a Thursday.
Sorry, it's doing this.
Okay, climbing. It's not. It's
slow. It's a slow. It's not. We're not going. It's not the shuttle. It's kind of like.
I think part of it is that there's a significant part of the fan base that doesn't believe Jordan Travis is like ultimately the solution for all the problems on the offense. And you mentioned it on the show either Tuesday or Monday, Corey, about after those first 2-3 drives of the game, you're thinking that Florida State's got no shot and they're going to get run off their own field at home. Now they fight back and make it a kind of a close game, but you did see that from the offense. You're like, good gosh, why do they not have a good game plan that's coherent and fits and is sort of congruent with what this guy does?
Why did it take you to halftime to make the adjustment to go to the huge splits?
Yeah. And
why wait a whole half?
You mentioned the defense played well outside those 3 plays. Those 3 plays were touchdowns. They were bad missed tackles, bad angles. That sort of stuff on defense, you were hoping it was out of your system. It's sort of come back and reared its head again. And then the offense looks up and down, herky-jerky. Your receivers aren't making plays. So then you start thinking, okay, well, we're going to play another aggressive defense. What are we going to look like against them? So that the fears that we kind of thought were alleviated kind of came back with the way that North Carolina State game played out.
Yeah, I agreed.
16th in the country. They moved up, I think, in the college football.
Yeah.
So,
hey, a few teams lose. NC State might be playing for a title. Hey, NC State, don't they have a good shot at winning or at least playing for the championship? They play Wake this week. I assume that's probably for the Atlantic Division.
Yeah.
What a world we're living in. NC State play against Wake, 7:30, ACC Network. I know you guys are all fired up for it. That'll probably decide the ACC Atlantic. It might very well decide the ACC championship. What a time to be alive.
play that. Is it good? Yeah, it's going to be in Winston-Salem, man. It's going in front of a raucous 13,455 at BB&T Field, or it's got some other bank name to it now. But yeah, that's going to be the battle that determines who wins the ACC Atlanta.
Right. All right, man. Great.
William McMillan, 5 bones our way. Thanks, William. Appreciate it.
Thanks, William. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you very much. Wayne Baldy, I don't know what that was all about. It says something about go root for Tennessee then. It's that simple. Chill out, Wayne. We can root for whoever we want, man. We can live life. Michael Carpenter asks, are y'all more excited for basketball starting or Miami this weekend? Good question.
That is a good question. Basketball does start tonight, 9 o'clock. You still have time after this to go get a seat in that arena. The student section sold out, by the way. That's a cool deal for an opener against Penn. By the way, until I was writing the game story or the game preview, I had forgotten Penn didn't play at all last year. This is their first basketball game since Florida State beat Boston College to wrap up the ACC title in March of 2020. They played that same day too. That was the last time Penn played a basketball game. So you hope you'd have a little bit of an advantage. 19-point favorites tonight. I'd still say probably Florida State, Miami.
Yeah.
You know, over, and I'm a huge basketball fan. I'm a big fan of Leonard over a season opening basketball game against an Ivy League school.
I even heard on Scott Van Pelt's podcast. He's like, hey, man, you all know me. I'm a basketball fan, huge college basketball fan. He's like, March, I can't tell you how much I love it. He's like the grind of a conference slate from January to that first week of March. He's like, but basketball in November, I'm good. He's like, I can't get into it at all. And I'm like,
it's cool. I mean, Florida State plays at Florida on Sunday, so I'm sure you guys will be watching that, and it's always fun to beat them, which has happened 7 years in a row, I think. But yeah, it's November basketball. So I'm very excited about the team, and I'm always rooting for Leonard to do great things.
Does whoever takes over for Dabo, whoever takes over for Saban, whoever takes over for Dan Mullen, whoever takes over for Ed Orgeron, are they going to get 5 or 6 years to get their program right?
Dan Mullen? Why would you throw him in with Saban and Dabo?
I'm just saying, high-level program.
Oh, no. Mike Norvell's not getting 6 years. It might be a 6-year rebuild. Hopefully it won't be. But if Mike Norvell goes 4-8 in year 4, he's not getting a year 5. It's not a possibility. The hope, we all hope, is that he ain't going 4-8 in year 5. He might go 8-4. He might go 9-3, which I know isn't great by Florida State standards, but that to get back to a championship, it's going to be a bit.
Jimmy Vance keeping us on the level. Odds are against it, but Money Mike's got a chance to beat Miami and Florida and Boston College. You go 6-6. You cause Miami and Florida to fire their coaches, and then you wrap up a top 10 recruiting class, the greatest 6-6 season in collegiate football history.
I would also, especially, it's close, it would be right up there, especially when you start out going 0-4 and one of the losses is to an FCS school. If you then close it up with a 6-6 season and you beat your 2 rivals, go to a bowl and wrap up a class like that, yeah. It'd certainly be the best 6-6 season in FSU history. It would be one of the better ones of all time. And it's not, again, what's that spread in that Florida game going to be? 6, 9? Boston College will probably be a pick 'em close to it. Like, these are all winnable games. But again, like I always say, they're all losable too.
Do we have a beef with any other podcast? Somebody was asking if we've got a beef with a podcast and asked if it's friendly competition or real hate.
Oh, I don't know. Unless you're talking about the Conan podcast, because I hate that dude. Get out of my neighborhood. But other than that, no, I don't. No real beefs with any podcast.
Michael Carmer says, good job, Corey, earlier going after the I-25 corridor rivalry. That is UTEP and New Mexico.
It is a legendary rivalry. We all know that.
All right. Keeping things moving here on YouTube. Appreciate everybody. The thumbs up. Subscribe to our YouTube page as well. Lots of banter going back and forth between the Miami fan that's in here and
should I just mute him?
No.
All right. As long as he's being nice and friendly.
Is losing to this Florida State team a fireable offense in Miami and Gainesville?
Yes. Well,
Gainesville.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, well, not just because it's not like if they were 10-0 and they lost, they'd be like, all right, you're done, Manny. It's everything that's come before that. It's also what the recruiting classes look like. It would not be all of the nails in the coffin, but it could be the final one for both of them. If that were to happen, yes.
Let's see here. Tony Greco wants to see the pocket moving since the offensive line is below average and hurt. Maybe some rollout, one read, not there, run.
Yeah, I'm all about that, Tony. I think you would have seen that this past week. It was hard to do it against Clemson because apparently they went to 2 spies and they have athletes. Not that Miami doesn't, but I assume you'll see some of that this week. You would have probably seen it last week if he had actually played.
Ray asks, our guy Ray Prayer asks, got so many tight ends. Why not move Jordan Wilson to offensive line?
Well, he's a senior. There's no point now. You do want to ask yourself, that's another thing. But by the way, is there any coach in America, any tight ends coach in America that works harder than Chris Thompson? All the other ones have like 2. Like, hey, Jim and Billy, watch me now. He's got 8 guys he's trying to corral. He's like an O-line coach. You would think one of them, you would like one of these guys to maybe make an impact maybe starting next year. They have way too many tight ends to not be getting a whole bunch out of that position.
All right, let's see here. Corey, thoughts on Florida State keeping a top 10 recruiting class? He says next year. I don't know if he means 2020. Let's say 2022. Because you haven't done your 2023 mocks yet, right, Corey?
I haven't. No, I'm still focused in on this one. Look, I don't know, 40%. It's just I don't know that you're going to have a bunch of defections, but maybe some of the kids that you were really trying to impress with a breakout season, the kids that are on the fence, the kids that have not committed to anywhere yet. Maybe you're not getting a couple of those that you would have hoped that if you were 6-3 right here instead of the other way around that you could have brought in. But I still think it's going to be a good class. It's certainly going to be the best one they've signed in 5 years. You know, keep the big ones, keep the big names, and it'll be the best one you've signed in 5 years.
Abdel, our basketball-loving fanatic, leading scorer for tonight. He says Caleb Mills will drop 18.
Yeah, that would be my guess. Maybe not the 18, but yeah, I would think Caleb Mills is going to be the leading scorer for much of the year. Leonard even told me he's going to have a little more freedom to do things in the offense that other guys have had in the past because he is so talented and gifted. So yeah, I would say that it's going to be Caleb Mills.
Anthony Polite.
Oh, okay. Going to hit 5 threes.
Swiss sensation.
Okay, all right. I can't believe how good a basketball player that guy's turned out to be. It's remarkable.
Yeah. And they know how to develop. That's pretty cool.
They do.
Right?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Joey Stewart asks, if you had to choose a position coach change, which position coach would you say? Corey doesn't like doing that. Corey doesn't like doing it.
It is hard, man. I really don't. That's like saying if I could get rid of one of the members of Warchant, who would I get rid of? We all know the answer, but I'm not going to say it out loud.
Love Ira. Love you.
Right. Look, I think it comes down to, other than a couple of positions, O-line, DC, everything else to me, most everything else is about recruiting. Who is bringing in the guys at their position and who isn't? And if they're not bringing in guys at their position, get somebody that can. Just get somebody that can. And you can look at those. You can look at the roster, the depth chart, and you can look at these recruiting lists for this year, next year, see which positions maybe aren't being stocked with great talent, and do what you will with that. But you've got to get guys on this staff that can bring in dudes at their position, real players, not serviceable, not okay, not diamonds in the rough, actual players that can maybe go play at the next level.
Doug Sontag. Can Travis Hunter be our Shohei Ohtani? Can somebody? I mean, I know he's got the ability to be really great at playing defensive back and wide receiver, is it and receiver or wide receiver? We're asking a lot from this kid. I know he's capable, but I know Cromartie they flirted with Cromartie.
I think Cromartie was definitely going to do it the year he got hurt. They were going to play him a receiver. Yes, you have to. Number one, that's what you're selling them, I would hope. And that's whatever businesses are in the mix, you better be selling them. That's part of his intrigue. But yeah, man, it ain't like you've got a bunch of Travis Hunters on offense. He helps on defense, but he certainly helps on offense, and he probably makes more of an impact on offense. So I would give him Jarvis Brownlee plays about, in some games he's played 76 snaps this year, 80 snaps. Let's say he plays every down, Jarvis Brownlee. Okay, well, let's say Travis Hunter plays the same number of snaps, 80. We'll put 40 of them on offense. Make him play passing situations on defense. But he needs to be on the field on offense at least some of the time.
Look at this. Abdel thought I wasn't going to get to his question, so he came and threw $20 at us so that he could hijack.
I think he did that a few minutes ago. You didn't see it. Abdel in the house.
Hoops is back. He thought he wants. I'll gladly sabotage each call-in show and Renegade Express with a basketball question.
Man, I'm all about it.
So he'll be repping the Warchant family live from Purdue later this month. All right, that's right. Yeah. Mackey Fieldhouse, is that what it's called where they play Purdue? Is it Mackey?
I think just the Mackey Arena. I don't think it's a field house, whatever the difference is there. But yeah, they'll be at Mackey on the road. I don't think it's been a minute since they won a road ACC Big Ten Challenge game, but that'll be a good test for a young team. Okay. And yeah, I think Mills is the guy. I think Mills is he is just a natural scorer. They got a few of them, but he's the one.
You talked about you can't believe how far Anthony Polite's come. Are you going to be singing the same song about Raekwon Evans in 3 months?
Look, yeah, I'll go ahead and say it. Sure, I'm not sure. I don't think I believe it, but he looked good in the exhibition games against the Division II team and an NAIA team. It will help him, I think. Although Jalen Worley's good too, man, so he might still always be looking over his shoulder. But last year he started in front of the number 4 pick in the draft, who might be the rookie of the year. There's some pressure that comes with that. Every time he dribbled a ball, I'm not Scotty Barnes. I'm not Scotty Barnes. I'm not Scotty Barnes. I'm not Scotty Barnes. They want Scotty Barnes. That's tough to live up to, man. So he always started knowing he was going to come out before the first TV timeout. I think he'll have a little more freedom and a little more confidence this year, not starting in front of one of the best players in the country.
Nikki, hashtag Nole for life, throwing 10 bones our way. Hey, Nikki, thank you very much. Appreciate that. That gets you a little bit. Thanks for the content, gents. It's our pleasure. It's our job. Nikki, it's literally our job. This is what we're supposed to do.
Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
Feeling good about Saturday. This football team has fight and passion. They can do it, I believe.
Imagine, Nikki, a football team with fight, passion, and talent. Ooh. That's the trio. That's the holy trinity. That's the holy trio. And I'm not trying to besmirch some of the guys on this team. Some of them do have talent. But the hope, when I always consistently talk about culture and the fight and the way they play, is that you keep that mindset and that foundation that's been laid and then add real talent to it. And that's where you get championships from. That kind of mindset plus talent. Because we've seen really talented teams that didn't have any fight at all recently here, and it did not work out. So you got to find that mix, that recipe. But, yeah, they have the fight and the passion. They need to start getting some dubs.
Yeah. Imagine 75,000 fans with fight and passion like you, Nikki.
That's right. That's right, Nikki. Thank you. Thank you again.
That would help as well. All right. Quantrell knows. I saw somebody else. I think, did you guys bring up South Carolina on headlines? I saw somebody make a comment on a YouTube page about, and to what Quantrell knows says, Corey, as a South Carolina alum, it's obvious why we pack our stadium every Saturday. It's Columbia, South Carolina. What else is there to do? LOL. Sure.
I feel like
this isn't actually bubbling over with options either, Quantrell.
You shut your mouth. Corner pocket.
Hey,
Horizons.
Part-timer, you carpetbagger. Come at me.
That's true.
Town offices.
Well, you're right. You're there all the time. Yeah, it's still bizarre. It's not like Columbia is easy to get to either. And there's not a lot of people that live in South Carolina, right? Certainly not as many as Florida. But yeah, man, it's a Jeff Cameron was actually talking about it. They really are the envy of a lot of fan bases. Not because of what they do on the football field. Nobody would envy that, save for UMass. But what they do with their fans is really kind of incredible. They're just always pack that stadium, man, or get close to it, even when they're not very good. They don't deserve it. South Carolina teams don't deserve it, but they get it.
Doug Sontag's back says, for real, Garrett, LOL, he loves Tyler Van Dyke more than Freddie Freeman because Garrett asks you, Corey, weeks ago, you joked that Tyler Van Dyke was the next Vinny Testaverde.
I wasn't joking.
Since then, he's had 3 straight 303 touchdown games. Do you regret the joke?
I wasn't joking. No, I've been really impressed with him. I know he's a Miami guy. We don't root for him. I would never root for him. He's a fun guy to watch. I like guys that play quarterback like that, like swagger and confidence and talking smack before the game and tatted up. No, he's tatted up. I mean, he's just a different dude. No, I don't.
He's from Connecticut. How did this happen? I mean, I know Rhett Lashley was like an OC at Connecticut for 1 year. Like, that's the luck they get, huh? Unreal.
Well, they haven't been that lucky the last 20 or so years. They were due a little luck. They've still had to deal with Randy Shannon as a head coach and Mark Richt as a head coach and now Manny Diaz as a head coach. But yeah, he's good. I'm sure it was tongue in cheek the first time he had a big day. But after now watching him 3-4 games in a row, this isn't a fluke. He's a good player. He's potentially really, really good. But I apologize if that jinxed something. It might have. So I apologize for that.
Mm-hmm. Winding things down here on Wake Up Warchant. But if you guys out there are watching your college football games, but you want some other hobbies, and you're like, oh, I want to build wealth. Maybe you want to get involved in cryptos, but you don't know where to start when it comes to cryptocurrency. Check out kraken.com/warchant. They'll even greet you up top of the screen and say, hi, fan of Wake Up Warchant. Sign up below to start buying and selling crypto.
Oh, nice.
Over like 50 different cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Doge, Ethereum. You can buy it all on your phone, your mobile device by downloading the Kraken app. Just go to the App Store, search for Kraken, or go to kraken.com/warchant and find out why Kraken has been one of the highest rated places to buy crypto over the last 10 years. They're not a fly-by-night operation. And again, you can get started really small. Your investment, kind of like Florida State at this point. Get the ground level and build your way up. $10 to get you started. Go check out the Kraken app. All right, Corey, we're moving things along here. Gregory, come on, man. Do you all think any Florida State players on the current roster are going to transfer out?
Yeah.
You can ask everywhere. Everywhere is going to, not just Florida State.
The key is to not have them be like impact players. But yes, that will happen. It's going to happen at every university.
Doug's back, and he brought Alexander Hamilton with him. That's who's on the $10 bill, I think, right?
I thought he was the 20.
Come on, don't be silly.
I wouldn't know who has cash anymore. I just have crypto.
Nice. Doug says, I know it's crazy when, not if, Hunter comes in, he will be on both sides of the ball. We threw money at us, I guess. We answered this question, did we not?
Hey, keep going, though.
Corey, you asked us to rally for Miami. I'm coming up from Melbourne. Let's go.
Absolutely. There you go, Doug. That's what I'm talking about. And hey, if you're in town Friday night, come up to Corner Pocket. You can buy me a Truly or a High Noon, whatever the cool kids are drinking these days. Or I'll buy you one. We'll see how it goes. I owe you after that. But yeah, man, that's cool. I hope more people, just on a whim almost. Just like, you know what? I'm going to the game. Now, there's nowhere to stay in the city, but I'm going to the game.
I try to get my friends to come up. I was like, hey, after we beat Clemson, y'all going to come up for the Miami game? But my one buddy had like a powerlifting meet. The other friend was only going to come if he came. And my brother and his buddies were like, no, man, we're not coming. So I tried.
There you go. You want to, hey, everybody, you want to know what's wrong? Why you can't be South Carolina? I guarantee if South Carolina was playing Miami, Aslan's brother would come and the power lifter would come.
Gator Kirk in Virginia Beach, Virginia. What up, Gator Kirk? Asks us, how will we know when the rebuild has been accomplished?
I got an answer to that. The easy answer is you're hoisting a trophy on a stage. In November, you're actually watching the college football reveal show, and you're really worried where you're going to be. Like, are we one? Have they moved us down? Are we in the top 4 yet? Or are we positioned well? I think that's when you know, because it was on last night. I was at Kentucky. It was before the Kentucky Duke basketball game. They actually had Pollock and those guys at Madison Square Garden just to do the reveal in Herb Street, which was really bizarre, cross promotion. But I was like, you know what? Again, I've said this before, but I haven't watched one of those shows and cared about it. I haven't really watched in 7 years. That's when you know that you're back to where you're contending for things again. Is when you watch that bad boy. And I love the process. I love the revealing each week. It's really great TV. Really fun to debate Cincinnati and Michigan and Michigan State.
Wes wanted me to actually read his comment, but I don't know. Say he wants you to go take the spear after Osceola's planted the spear, and he wants you to take it. And here we go. Yeah. Then spear Sebastian the Ibis. LOL.
And like really kill the person inside. Hey, I'm not doing that for you, Wes. I like you, buddy. I'm not going to prison for you. I will say this: I'm going to need Renegade to be better this week. I don't know what was going on last week. It looked like a different horse. Literally, like Stephanie was like, she texted me and was like, "What's with the horse?" Yeah. Because he didn't. Number one, he didn't rear up, and Renegade's had an awesome year, maybe the best year ever. But on Saturday, he didn't rear up at all, and then they didn't even have him in the corner like they usually do because apparently he got spooked by the crowd, which makes me think it was a replacement Renegade, and the other Renegade was maybe. I mean, he probably had the flu too. Yeah. He's too close to Jordan Travis the week before. I don't know. But hopefully Renegade has if it was the real Renegade or not, hopefully he does better this week.
All right, over under, how many punts will we catch?
Let's say Miami punts 4 times. Okay. I think that's a nice number. I'm going to say you catch 2 of them.
All right, so 1.5.
Yeah, 1.5 would be a very good number for that.
I'll take the under. Lou Headley's going to be just shanking him all over the place. It's going to be Peter, get away.
Right.
It'll bounce our way. Somebody was asking, should we go get a kicker out of the portal? I forgot who they were. I've lost the comment on my screen, but should they go get a kicker? I think Tom Ortner. Would you be okay with bringing another kicker this year? Transfer high school?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, it's not like it's a strength. I mean, he hasn't been awful. He's made more than he's missed, but he certainly isn't an Aguayo. I shouldn't say an Aguayo. He's not the Aguayo. He's not the good Aguayo. So yeah, man, he hasn't cemented this thing for the next 3 years. He can use some competition, I think. And he's had a fine year. I'm not saying he's been bad, but he's not above some competition. I would also say this: that would be the last transfer I brought in. I'd exhaust all other positions and all other possibilities. And if a All-American is out there dangling for a kicker, an All-American kicker is dangling, and you got no other avenues to go down, go ahead and try to snatch them up.
Their kicker on the season is 12 of 16 with a long of 55.
He also boinked that one against Virginia. But he was really good last year. Like that's their transfer, right? He transferred in last year and was great. And 12 to 16 ain't bad.
It was his brother, I think. Now this is Andres. Andres, look at our guy. Andres, look at this. That's like 1980s earrings, Andres. What's going on, man? Step up your game, Andres. Step it up, bro. Good hair.
And he owns it, though. I mean, Mastromato has his mullet. This kid has his earrings. Kickers are a different breed, man.
Yeah, they are. But yeah, it's 75% on the year. He's 3 of 4.
So that's not the kid from last year?
No, he's a freshman.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I guess apparently his brother, because I searched, I'm like Borregales, Miami kicker.
Yeah.
It came up like he's a kicker for the Buccaneers. That's Jose Borregales. I guess.
Oh, all right. Okay. Apologies to the Borregales family.
They're trying to become like the Aguayos. They're trying to become the first family of kicking.
Right. The Zendejas brothers from way back when.
There we go. The Colquitts, the punting.
The Colquitts, the punting legends, yeah.
Winding things down here, but we couldn't wrap up if we didn't talk to the man.
Guys, this is a very special occasion. The Godfather himself has been kind enough to grace us with his presence. The Godfather. This is his damn house. He lives there. He sleeps 20 feet away.
It's Ed Lemix, everybody. It's
the man, the myth, the legend.
These delicious things. He brings them to us on his website. It's called DeLunaCoffee.com. Go check it out. Ed says we will beat Miami this weekend.
I think Ed's supposed to be in town, right?
I would think so, yeah.
Ed, if you're in town, if you get in town early, you can always swing over to Corner Pocket for a little happy hour action with Jeff Cameron and I, 5 to 6. Should be a good crowd, especially near like 5:30 or so. People really start coming in. But, yeah, come on out. I think Shane and Michelle, other pillars, will be there as well. So come on out to Corner Pocket, man. But either way, you're always very much you know that. I don't have to tell you that. You're the best. You didn't have to donate, but you're the man. Y'all are all the Lamontson are good people.
They are.
Support them.
Yes, go to DeLunaCoffee.com. They gave you not one but 2 bundles to choose from. If I don't want coffee, it's okay. Get the one on the right. Get this bundle. It's just hot cocoa and chocolate-covered espresso caramels. And then the one on the left, the Blue Angels coffee and they both go with the tumbler. The tumbler, everybody. Come on. Be seen. Be noticed. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate you, man. A couple last comments. Ray says our receivers need to hit the weight room so they don't get dominated.
I don't disagree with that, man.
Ray says, I don't think we're going to be much better next year. So maybe 2023.
I mean, you wouldn't think when you think about what you're losing. I think the offense will be better because literally they all come back, and you're going to have some additions, hopefully some major additions. And I don't see how the defense improves drastically from what it is this year. But if you had a good offense, like a good offense, not just an average one that you have now, or probably a little below average when you look at the numbers. If you had a good offense, this defense is good enough to win 7 or 8 games. So you've got to find some guys out wide. I think that's bigger than anything else, Aslan, the more I think about it. You got to go now, number one, defensive line and wide receiver. Those are the 2 things you have to hit hard in the portal. You have to hit hard in the portal. Defensive line probably even more so because I think if you land a couple kids that you think you have a good chance of landing, freshmen can make a real impact at wide receiver. That's a position where you can, if you're really talented, if you're an ultra talented guy, you can score 9 or 10 touchdowns to freshmen and make a real difference. Defensive line, you don't see a lot of freshmen coming in and doing much of anything. So you've got to go find some defensive linemen that can play, much like you did this past offseason, and please go get some help out wide.
And Gator Kirk's our research department. Apparently the older Borregales was at UCF, then he transferred to Miami. This is his little brother.
Yeah, I remember the transfer. I just thought it was the same kid. I didn't know because he could have come back since it was a COVID year. I just assumed he did.
I gotta find this. This is a good question.
This is the longest show ever.
Oh, stop! It's all right.
I know.
This one. Here we go. Debo Samuel fan. Speaking of South Carolina.
Oh, that is a good question.
What would this team's record be with 2018 McKenzie?
Ooh, well, that's a good question, man. That's what I was trying to say. Like, the defense has been okay if you had if you had like an elite offense like that one was. I would say, 6-3
right now. They're 3-6 right now, correct?
Yeah. So you definitely win Jacksonville State.
Yes.
I mean, you put 38 on Notre Dame. I don't know how much more 18 Milton's going to do than that.
7-2. Final answer.
Yeah, I'd say 6-3 or 7-2. Absolutely. I think you don't beat Wake. You probably don't beat Notre Dame. You might win all the rest, though. You might win all the rest. I think 2018 Milton puts up more than 13 at Clemson, as good as that defense is. That's a good question. Can we go back and get him?
Maybe Florida State Love, he says driving out Thursday night. If he's got a DeLorean, maybe he can stop in 2018 and bring Mackenzie Milton with him. Driving in from Des Moines.
Oh, all right. I met before you got there on Friday. I met a nice man. He was there. His name was Paul. Okay. He was with his wife. He actually donated to the happy hour with Jeff and I, and they came all the way from Illinois. And he told us the story that he just became a fan one day watching football in the 80s and seeing those cool helmets. It might have been the 90s. I don't want to date you, Paul. But seeing those cool helmets, and he became a diehard fan. And every day they spent their honeymoon was the 2009 Georgia Tech FSU game. How about that? Well, it was part of their honeymoon. Then they went to Destin. It wasn't like they just came to watch, Nesbitt versus Ponder. But that was part of their honeymoon. They were very, very nice people. Stephanie, of course, became fast friends with both of them.
Obviously. All right, we are done. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. Don't forget Florida State tips off the basketball season here at 9 p.m. So about an hour and 15 minutes here on the East Coast.
ACC Network.
Yes. Happy Veterans Day coming up here for we got a lot of vets that have been posting today here in the chat, man. So thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Have a good one. Hope everyone spoils you the way you guys spoil us when we do this live show. Thank you to Ed, the patriarch of the Lemmix family and DeLuna Coffee, Doug, Abdel, Nikki, our guy in NorCal, Kev,
yeah,
William,
man.
Ellen, Mark, Eric, Weldon, Taylor. Weldon, you didn't say anything, man. You just showed up and dropped $20. Didn't say anything, man. Come back next week. Sky Ninja, Ray, and Rob. We appreciate it all. Thank you so much, everybody. For real. This This is one of the better hour and 25 minutes of our days, our weeks, I would say.
It is. I can't wait to do it next week, talking about the big dub over the Canes.
Let's go.
And maybe speculating who they're going to replace Manny with.
That's right. Stay connected to warchant.com. We've got game predictions. We've got a full panel coming up doing the War Chant report. Again, Corey, Jeff, Gene talking about their favorite Miami rivalries.
With highlights.
Yeah. With the highlights. All that's going down. Jeff Cameron show as well. And we'll be back Friday. So we'll see you then. Have a great one. He's Corey Mazon. Thank you for listening and watching Wake Up War Chant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee.